Hey Edson, it's Mayor Kevin Zahara with another Town of Edson COVID-19 update. Great news this week here in Alberta with the first vaccinations occurring yesterday among frontline staff in ICUs. Certainly great news to see. More vaccinations going to be rolling out to frontline care workers as well as long-term care homes and those that are most vulnerable to this virus here in the days, weeks, and months ahead. And then, of course, it'll be rolling out to the general population. So there is light at the end of this tunnel. It's just going to take us a little bit more time to get there. We're also seeing some cautious optimism with a plateau in numbers here in Alberta and starting to see less new active cases announced each day over the last couple days. Today, 1,270 new active cases were announced. That's less than what we've seen in days previous. We were over 1,800 for a number of days. As well as the positivity rate in testing has gone down to just over 7%. It was up to 10% at one point in time. And the R value, they talk about the R value, and the R value is the amount of spread that is occurring person to person. They need to see that number at 1 or below, and Alberta is currently under 1, which is good news as well. But we have to continue what we are doing. And I was on a conference call yesterday with Dr. Hinshaw, Premier Kenney, and Minister Allard of Municipal Affairs. Of course, Christmas is coming up. Of course, we're all sick and tired of COVID. We're all sick and tired of the restrictions. And we're sick and tired of, basically having our lives turned upside down, not being able to see our friends and family. I get that. I understand that. We all understand that. We're all going through this. And there's definitely a huge amount of concern about Christmas time. Of course, the orders have come down that social gatherings are not to be occurring and not to be occurring over Christmas. This is a very tough pill to swallow. We are in a situation in which we want to be with our family. Christmas time is important, especially for kids, for grandparents. But at this point in time, we have to stay away from one another. And I know that there are going to be individuals out there that are not going to do that. And there is a huge risk with having family gatherings. And I'm not an alarmist, but we're in a situation in which there is spread occurring from unknown sources, and you can unknowingly pass it on to somebody in your family that may have an underlying health issue. So we are certainly pleading. I know the Premier is asking for this. I'm asking for this. The evil politicians everywhere are asking for this, and healthcare officials to please limit your gatherings to your households only. Try to do it via Zoom, maybe FaceTime, or delay your Christmas celebrations until the new year when vaccinations have rolled out widely and the risk is far less. Yesterday, I was on a conference call, as I think I may have mentioned, with Premier Kenney, Dr. Hinshaw, and Minister Allard. And a story was shared of a family over Thanksgiving bringing their grandparents over for Thanksgiving dinner, something that most of us do. The grandparents contracted COVID at that dinner because family members were infected and didn't know it. Unfortunately, the grandmother passed away from COVID, and the grandfather is in the ICU. These are very real outcomes. There's always the risk of it getting into seniors facilities and that sort of thing. So try not to do that. And I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, especially everything we've gone through, and we're all done with this. I'm done with this. As well, I have a grandmother who's 96 years old. I haven't seen her since the spring, except for 2 minutes in October when my mom passed away. And it's hard, and it's really, really tough. But if we do the right things now, we will have the opportunity to celebrate down the road. And people are mad about this. I know that, and very upset about that. And I certainly understand it, but we got to do what we have to do right now to keep these numbers down, protect people, so we can get to that normal course of life as quickly as possible. Here locally, we have 106 active cases. That is a huge concern. That is a decrease from the day before where we had 111 active cases. I want to thank everybody that's been trying so hard to curb the spread. There have been questions asked as to where is this spread occurring, who's getting sick. As I mentioned before, Alberta Health Services doesn't provide us with any official information. The information the town of Edson receives and I receive as mayor is usually from organizations or businesses contacting me, or hearing from people in the community of what is going on. I do know personally of over a dozen individuals that are Edson residents that have contracted this. Some are very sick. Some have had very low symptoms. Some returned to work very quickly because they got over it very quickly, while others have not. There have been questions about all the pipeline workers in town. Are they playing into the numbers? It really depends on where their home address is and where they get tested. I haven't heard of anything among pipeline workers. I'm not saying that that hasn't occurred, but I'm not aware of any information in terms of that. And Alberta Health Services doesn't disclose that to us. We have had an outbreak at a childcare facility in our community, which is listed on the Government of Alberta website. And we've had some spread among families and in some businesses as well, where people were in close contact. But as long as we're doing those right things of physically distancing, hand sanitization, wearing masks, that does a lot to help prevent the spread. I can speak from our personal case in our household. As you were aware, we were a close contact, a family member. My wife was a close contact to someone. They had a meeting in a work environment prior to the restrictions for about 45 minutes. Both were wearing masks and were physically distanced. Her close contact has been very, very ill, and we hope that she has a very speedy recovery. But my wife, luckily, tested negative. Our family tested negative. We're one of the lucky ones. But because they had the procedures, they were doing the protocols, certainly I think that helped that situation. We just got to continue those efforts and continue. I know there's lots of stigma with getting COVID. I know some people are afraid to say anything publicly because they may be labeled. I know that those that have contracted this feel really bad that they pass it on to other people or may have passed it on to other people. You should not feel badly about that. It happens. That's what makes this virus so dangerous. It's so contagious. It's so easy to spread. It doesn't take much. And I just want to thank those that have been doing the right things, that who have gone for testing and contacted their close contacts. Those have self-isolated, maybe gone above and beyond what is being recommended in order to keep our community safe. That's what we need to do at this point in time. With that, I'm just going to say, hey, look, in a couple more weeks, more vaccinations will be rolling out. Eventually, we will be at a place where restrictions are going to be able to be eased. We'll be able to have those gatherings again and do so safely. I know there's a number of local residents that have been laid off with the restrictions. We will post a link in the comment section about how to get resources. There are programs available for both businesses and employees and to help and assist with that. We will get through this, but we just got to keep up our efforts, Edson. And I want to thank everybody for trying to deal with this the best way that they can. I know it's super, super stressful. Edson, stay safe, take care, and I'll have a further update for you next week.